welcome back to Monty Friday Art. It's been about 4 or 5 years. I thought I'd pick it up again because why not? I've been busy. I'm less busy these days, so I think it's about time I started painting again. I've been painting and stuff on Instagram, but it's been sporadic. So I wanted to do something a little more consistent, and I thought I'd pick up my YouTube channel again. So if you are watching, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. This is going to be a time-lapse video, but I thought I'd just quickly show you the palette that I'm going to be using for this picture, which you can see on screen, and also just how I mix my colours and prep beforehand, and then we'll get into the time-lapse. But because I use airbrush, I don't have a huge amount of equipment, so I want to work as quickly as possible. I'll pre-mix a lot of the colours that I need up front, and then it's just a case of cleaning out the little pot in the airbrush between colours as we go, and it speeds up the process no end. So the majority of the colours that we're going to be using today on this are some burnt sienna. And just pro tip, while I start, I've actually put some blue tack on the bottom of that, so when you press it down, it won't move as much. I've also got a pipette because I like to keep the water clean, and you want it in a milky sort of consistency. I don't know if you use airbrush. I like to use airbrush sometimes. Sometimes I just like to use straight up acrylics. Other times it's gouache. But today is going to be airbrush. We'll go for some black. There we go. So we need a huge amount. And I say this is just so that you knocked the camera there. This is just so that you don't have to move clean as much. Swap, mix. You get all of that mixing done up front with your core colours. Of course, you're going to have more fun painting. What else have we got? We've got blue, but I think we'll need some ultramarine and a blend of this lighter blue that we've got as well. That's looking good. There we go. We've got the tripod set up right next to the so there's no wonder that I'm actually constantly hitting the tripod. There we go. Okay, and I think finally we'll go for a flesh tone, which will require some ochre, a touch of red, and maybe just a tiny bit of the yellow that I've got in there. I'm going to touch more red. That'll do. Oh, some of that blue's popped in, that's going to help. Why not? Okay. I think we've got the majority of our base colours in that we need. So let's get painting. Alright, so I've got this pre-sketched out, and just before I put paint to this paper, there's a couple of things I need to do. First off is putting any of the detail that we need. I've got my source material up here, and that will be just placing in some really like crude shadows. They don't need to be so accurate, because we will be going over this with a pencil afterwards. But what it allows us to do is roughly cut in where we need those lights and darks. and it's going to be painted over, so don't be too neat about it. It doesn't matter how rough it looks, really, to be perfectly honest. It's going to get covered in acrylic, and we're going to put acrylic over the top of this as well. For those bits that require a slight colour but not black, so you could use a brown. Certainly with the faces it works. This is Sanguine, and it's a Polychromos pencil. You can use any pencil. I just use these ones. It's just about cutting the shapes in, really. I don't think it needs a huge amount. Yeah, I don't think it's going to need much in the ways of... So much of this is black anyway. And the reason, because we're painting translucently with the airbrush, it means that we can sketch in at the bottom, and of course it will show through. That bottom layer will show through the paint, and it just helps create texture. And I tend to paint even with the airbrush and the this is covered in gesso board. It's an illustration board. But I still tend to paint quite flat, so where I can place a bit of texture in, I'd like to. Okay, no, a bit more down here, this bit, and that, let's make that more pronounced, his fingers. If you haven't already guessed, this is Aragorn. Is in the Prancing Pony. Strider, where they meet Strider in the Fellowship of the Ring. I wanted to do something simple, nothing too technical for the first drawing back. Actually, this could potentially be the second, because I did a Queen Amidala one, and also I created a C-3PO one as well. So actually, I mean, potluck, maybe this will be the first one you're watching. Okay, I don't think that needs much more in the ways of shading. I think we can call that pretty much done. And then what I can do now is I can go in with a black paint, sorry, just with a nice big brush. And this can go in quite thick. And all I'm going to do is just this. And fill in the gaps there. And what this does is it means I'm not using as much paint, and I'm not spending as much time airbrushing later on. You don't need to be precise. I'm not really doing it that precise. And even though this is all black up here, I'm leaving some space for changing my mind later. I'm not going to be too precious about anything. I want to make sure I keep his pipe intact. What is going on with this brush? This is hideous. Let's switch up. There we go. That'll do. That's it, and then let's make sure some space there for it. Perfect. That's a nice consistency there. That's good. Lovely. Right, where we come here, cuts in. I think we'll leave some space around. It's still dark, but there's stuff going on down there. I don't want to cover it completely. Give myself some options later. Leave his fingers clear. And it goes without saying, if you need something white, you leave it white. If you want something dark, you paint it in dark. If you want it we go. Right, I think I'll leave that. It's a really quick way of painting. A nice loose sketch. Nice loose sketch, and then quick washes of colour where you think you're going to need it. Like that. Now I've printed this picture out and I can't actually see where that shadow ends, so I'm just going to make it up and presume there is some level of crease in his shirt that's showing, or his overcoat, his poncho. I'll leave that in somewhere, we can always paint over it later. Right, really crudely done. I'll go in with that square brush again, and I'm going to just take that and there. And carry that over. Actually, could end up looking like some kind of wood paneling, I'm sure. Might not be able to see it later, but it stays in for now. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. Only take a few minutes. And then we can get airbrushing. It's going to take about 45 minutes, I imagine. So I'll make it a time-lapse video. I'm sure we'll do longer. Maybe a tutorial video again, I don't know. But I just paint that in there, like that. And I think we'll do the same for his mouth. But yeah, I think we're about ready. Do you know what? We're not. I've just missed a massive shadow here. So glad we came back to it. Square jaw. Very nice. So yeah, we tried this. You'll see me masking things off with Frisk tape. I'll show you what that is just here. That's this stuff. And it's really low tack, so you'll see that I laid over a stencil around the bits that I want to keep safe. I'll start with his face. I'll then stencil that area. And then it means that area won't get polluted with any of the other colour as we go through the painting, which is obviously hugely important. Perfect. Right, we are definitely ready now. So we're just about dry. So I'm going to start with the pencils straight in. Yeah, see where this goes. Right. I use Prismacolor and Polychromos, but again, you can use what you want. I think I'm going to have to go straight in with the black, I think. I made it a little too dark, but that's all right, that can be fixed. And again, even now I'm not being too precise because I'm not too fussed. It's about dry enough. You don't want it to be you don't want to go in straight away because you'll just peel the paint off. But this has been drying for about half hour, I think, give or take. Should be fine. Nice orange colour. Yep. On the nose as well. There's a bit of white in there. A little dot. There. Okay. There's a little white here. And there. Maybe go over with this one. A bit too much. You can always rub it out if you make a mistake. It's not a problem. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Bring that around that side. There's a bit more shape. And highlight here. Under his chin. You see, I'm not being too precise with it. No point going overboard with the detail. Simply doesn't matter. It's a nice colour for the lips, I think. Yeah, top lip, that's better. Right, let's get that highlight in. Let's go with some more dark first. So I forget to talk because I lose myself a little bit. But you can see what I'm doing here. It's not rocket science. And then I think we'll put a nice white highlight there on his finger. Just right there, and then let's get this nice highlight in here. Again, not being too precise because it doesn't really matter. It is just a sketch. There's going to be a nice highlight on the other side of this because it's three-dimensional. There we go. And that's where that light's travelled round. Put put some extra in here for his fingers. And we can move on to the green shortly. Let's add a bit of colour into his cheek. He is just a little bit too the same colour. I think he needs a little bit more. Yeah, I'm happier with that. And maybe a little more around his there. And then his lip has got, I probably made that too dark, but we can go in again and just blend it with this, just create that. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so I've got this greeny colour, and it's more of a mustard. It's green gold, and I'm just going to start really quickly highlighting his cloak. Again, don't take too much time, doesn't matter. And where it's a solid line, you draw a line, and if it's sort of not a solid line, it's a bit more faint or undefined, you can use the zigzags. It actually acts as a nice blend when you move out from the sharper areas. All right, let's just get that whole area coloured in. And put some bits here. I'd like a little bit there on the top of his gloves, like this. And I'm just sort of making things up. I'm not really following a huge amount of the source material anymore. I'm just making things up and creating where I think it needs to go. But you can see it's starting to come together. There's that nice solid line on this side. Just to give a little bit, just to frame him ever so slightly. There we go, we can blend that out. Perfect. So this comes around like that. And as it gets closer to the light source, we can use a lighter colour. No harm in that at all. And those areas that probably are catching a little more light, we can make a little lighter. But again, you know, I'm not really adding a huge amount to this. The main values are in. I'd say, do you reckon his cloak's done? I'd say so. Just a little tone. Let's give the indication of his lapel here, ever so slightly. That'll do. And we'll bring just a tiny bit of the light coming back from behind him. Now, my gosh, I mean, we're gonna be done really soon. I mean, this has taken what, 8 minutes? Yeah, not long at all. Just need to put the windows in shortly, and we'll do that with ease. We want I didn't bother trying to create the window shapes in the painting because they were too thin. I knew I was going to mess up, and to be honest, does it matter? And put them in like this, and then this nice frosted sort of I don't know what this, almost like frost. I imagine it's raining outside, isn't it? So it's frosted up. No, not frosted up, steamed. That's what I was after. Scratches and but with very minimal effort, we've created some really darks, really nice darks. We've painted in some very loose colour, and we've got a fairly realistic, I'd say, fairly realistic representation of this image. As we all know and love this film. Some good colours, some nice warm colours, some mustards. I'm happy with it. Let's add some more texture here. I want some scratches and things. Yep. And this needs to be ever so slightly darker to blend in, be a bit more defined. It is a silhouette, so there's no more detail needed. I'd say just the white and we are done. Right, let's give this candle a bit of shape. Okay, it's in the foreground, so I don't want it to be too defined, but I do want it to have a little shape. I want it to be able to see that it's a candle coming, lighting this area up, and it's an old style candle. Yeah, I think we're going to call that done. Let's get it signed. Let's go for this side today. Get my little M in. Thank you for watching. I'm glad we picked this back up again. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Cheers.